What's up, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. The X-Men are a super bunch in a super school with super hormones. I mean, all that time working together, saving the world, kicking ass, and a lot of tights. Of course, you can't forget the super tights. I'm sure we've checked out Colossus's tin bin many a times. Man's got a wagon on him, just an absolute unit. So naturally there have been some hookups in the X-Men's lives, either with each other, with non-supers, or sometimes with Spider-Man's younger, way younger girlfriend. You never know with some of these guys. So here to break down 10 of those weird X-Men hookups that you will not believe, I'm Taylor McWatters, you're you, let's dive in. Kicking off the list at number 10, Kitty Pryde and Pete Wisdom. Scotland is a lovely place to fall in love. So magical, all the fresh air and the mountains makes your brain happy, you know? And that's exactly what happened to Pete Wisdom and Kitty Pryde. They met in Scotland when Black Air assigned them to help Excalibur on a mission, and Kitty at first hated this dude. I mean, he was smoking all the time, he was just a bummer to be around. She didn't trust him at all on top of all of that. So he was just like this mysterious smoking man that she was like, yeah, whatever. So she felt like she had to go on a mission with him, you know, to keep a watch on this guy, see what he's all about. And then of course she sees the soft side and falls in love. But there's of course the age gap, plus she was still hung up on Colossus. I mean, of course, who wouldn't be? The two of them hit it off for a bit anyways. That is until Kitty left to join S.H.I.E.L.D. and then almost cheated on him. Yeah, it got really close, like last minute, it was bad times. She tried keeping it a secret, but people, the truth always comes out and it always goes around. He left even though she begged him not to, so definitely a rough time with them too. And guys, just a reminder before we go to number 9 to go ahead and give us a super thumbs up on this video because it helps us out a lot in the studio. Thank you so much, you guys are the best. Now over to some brother and sister romances. Number 9, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The twins are pretty close, naturally. I mean, one's a witch, the other has super speed. They're the coolest twins ever. And the two got a little too close though in the Ultimates. Yeah, we're trying to get that out of our brains and our eyes. So sure, this was an alternate universe or whatever, but you can't unsee some of this stuff. In the third issue of the Ultimates, the Wasp is like, oh man, those twins sure do love each other. And Cap's like, why of course they do, they're family, haha. And then she's like, no dude, like he loves her, loves her. And then Cap gives this reaction, and that was a cool moment because you and Captain America both had the same exact face at the same time while you were reading. It's like you're in the book, how lovely. Number 8, Wolverine and MJ. I guess when you run out of people to hook up with on your own team, you gotta branch out a little bit, or branch down in age. So Wolverine and Mystique are the two X-Men most likely to try and steal your boo. So in Ultimate Spider-Man issue 66, we see Wolverine at it again. So Wolverine and Spider-Man swapped bodies, you know, kind of like the Change-Up or Freaky Friday. Yeah, Mesmero switched their bodies, so Peter's like, hey, I think you should go to school because school is important, blah, blah, blah. You should do that and I should do this. So while Wolverine was in Peter's body, he at one point ended up kissing MJ. Yeah, and that's not even the end. He even tried to sleep with her. What a creep, what a creep. Yeah, I guess those walks to school were starting to pull on the heartstrings a bit, you know? So Mary Jane told them she wants to wait until they were older for that kind of stuff to happen. So thankfully nothing too crazy happens, but come on Wolverine, what are you doing? Pick on someone your own age or size, or just don't, just be single, go be single forever. Number 7, Magneto and the Wasp. Okay, in the original Secret Wars 3, the pair actually have a one-night stand. And she even said that Magneto is a great kisser, so what do you know? A few of you are watching like, I knew that, who didn't know that? Of course. So here's the kicker, Magneto was apparently drugged. Yeah, it was revealed from Jim Shooter, the guy who wrote the series. He said that Magneto was accidentally drugged during all of this. So he was extra lovey-dovey with Janet at this point. So Magneto was head over heels for her, but the Wasp on the other hand was like, yeah dude, that was a one-time thing, one-O-N-E. And it's wild too because like Janet says no 3 times. And then she's like, oh, well, I suppose, I mean, you do have the iciest blue eyes I've ever seen. Number 6, Mystique and Deadpool. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about Mystique getting around a lot with the team. Deadpool though, whew, not that different after all. So it was only bound to happen where the two of them crossed paths in holy matrimony, that is. Yeah, so in Deadpool number 27, simply titled The Wedding of Deadpool, we find out that Mystique and Wade are married, or were married. That would be the best wedding of all time, by the way. That was open bar. Whew. So while the love wasn't true or strong enough to last, it was still one that had us all sitting up and loving. And it didn't take long for him to ask her to sign the divorce papers. He's also been married quite a few times, so this wasn't, you know, a first. He probably had a few extra pieces of paper lying around. He's like, yeah, here's one. So why didn't the couple work out, you ask? Well, Mystique was actually just using Wade as a way into Weapon X so she can get her hands on some files. Classic. The issue itself is quite enjoyable. We even see Wade visit our very own Niagara Falls. And yes, maybe he gets a bit too close. Number 5, Nightcrawler and Jermaine Sardos. I can't not include this one, okay? So imagine right now you're dating somebody and then you find out that they're actually your adopted sister this entire time. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Kurt Wagner. This is the best. So Kurt grew up with Jermaine Sardos, right? He was adopted by her and her mother. And they of course became close, as most siblings do, you know, being new siblings if anything. But then things get amazing. So Kurt started to date a woman named Amanda Sefton, and she turned out to be Jermaine in disguise. Yeah, surprise! Now normally when you find something like this out, you're a little thrown off. I mean, maybe you feel sick to your stomach immediately. I mean, I would assume, I don't know, that's my first reaction. Nightcrawler is totally cool with it. He's like, yeah, for sure. No, I'd be more demonstrative about it, but you know, I don't want to set a bad example for Kitty Pryde, you know? Number 4, Kitty Pryde and Colossus. Age is just a number, I guess. I mean, at least when it comes to X-Men hookups. So when the two first met in X-Men issue 129, she's said to be like 12 or 13 years old. They're trying to recruit her to go to Professor Xavier's school, and Colossus is like 18 or 19, we think, at this time. Now, in the Days of Future Past storyline beginning in X-Men 141, we see Kitty and Colossus married in the future. And that's another thing though, because back to the 14-year-old part, because that's the craziest point that I'm making here. They had their first kiss during a space mission, and right before they kiss, Kitty even says, gee, I wish I was older, and Colossus is like, And then he explains how serious he's being by kissing her. Number 3, Wolverine and Storm. Now, whenever Wolverine is in the picture, you know somebody is getting hurt, whether it's physically or emotionally. So Storm and Wolverine were always flirty, right? They were the cool kids of the X-Men. They didn't exactly get involved in a lot of the drama. Besides, Wolverine was way too into Jean Grey anyways, so his hands were quite full. Now, after a divorce, that's a tricky time to do stuff. I mean, even flirting with a coworker after a divorce, like the X-Men, that would just look worse than anything, right? That's like a no-go. You don't even look that way. The timing is just ill. So Storm divorced Black Panther, and then things got interesting. So Wolverine and Storm ran the Jean Grey school, and they hit it off. Now, the two of them could have gone on to become the best of lovers, but Wolverine lost his healing factor and started becoming reckless. So they decided to be better off friends. You're not immortal? Next. Swipe left. Number 2, Scott Summers and Emma Frost. Cyclops loves the telepathic types, so this exact scenario could get him in quite a pickle. So after Emma became Scott's therapist, feelings came out, you know? Getting in someone's head and all, that's what happens. And I mean literally in their head. Yeah, she used her telepathic powers to enter Scott's mind and help them get through past traumas. So naturally they get pretty close, but of course a bit too close. The affair happened in their minds, which is why this is one of my favorites on the list. Like Jean Grey walked in on them in their minds. Superheroes are wild. Emma Frost pitches the situation pretty well. She's like, no, we'll be in a deep private thought where it's safe to explore these feelings without guilt. Sure, I have a dream where I'm even talking to another girl and I'm like, oh, I gotta tell her. Number 1, Juggernaut and Jen Walters. My favorite for last, you already know what's up. Uncanny X-Men issue 435, we see Juggernaut and he's just kicked Rhino's ass. So he gets locked up, and then here's where things take an interesting turn. He has the perfect chance to get away from this holding facility that he's being held at. So Jen Walters, aka She-Hulk, asks him all these pressing questions. She's like, hey, Kane, why the change of heart? I mean, you're a criminal, and you didn't just break this guy's neck into 7 pieces, and you didn't escape. That's suspicious. She thinks it's part of this master plan, right? I mean, fair, this act of kindness, saving the guard from Rhino and then willingly being detained again. She, of course, thinks it's a lie. Fair, we all kind of agree. And then they start to talk about baseball a bit, just chatting it up, you know, and then the final question comes in. She goes, what do you think about women's rights? And then he goes, and he smiles. And then it cuts to this next page and we get a very messy room after some messy deeds have happened. Yeah, windows are open too, just putting on a show. A very, very loud, very loud show. Now, before we finish up here, we're gonna go to some comments from one of our last videos, and these ones come from top 10 worst things Joker has done. So if you haven't seen that one, make sure to check it out after you're done here. Okay, first comment comes from McWatters. They say, turn Joker into a cannibal, and he's automatically 100 times worse than anything he's been before. Yeah, man, as soon as you start eating people, I can assume that it's not a humbling experience. I mean, wasn't Shia LaBeouf like a cannibal for a hot minute there? Or were those just rumors? Either way, he gets into trouble every other month, so agreed, Mac Welch, I agree. Okay, next one comes from Ben Parrish. They say the Joker is my favorite character in all of fiction. I see the Clown Prince of Crime and I click. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to take a peek into what he's cooking up to. I mean, my question to you, Ben Parrish, is which live action Joker is your favorite? You've clearly given it enough thought, and I want to know from a super fan such as yourself, so make sure you see this and respond. I'll be waiting. Last comment comes from Raven herself. She says, sorry I've been so absent, guys. The crime rate here in Jump City has gone up since the pandemic started. All of us Titans have been really busy. Hey, no need to apologize, Raven. Things are busy for us over here too. You know, just you're busy, but you're busy kicking ass to pass the time. We just talk about kicking ass. Very different. Well, there you have it, guys. Which of these X-Men hookups are your personal favorites once you can't get out of your mind? Luckily, they all love flirting quite a bit, so I'm sure we'll be back to break down some more of these crazy hookups. Thank you for watching. You guys are the best. Stay safe out there. I'm Taylor McWatters. You're you, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.